Hey everybody, 8-Bit Josh here, and welcome back to another Planet Zoo Builds episode. And so today we are working on a saltwater crocodile habitat, and I wanted to do something a little bit different from this one. Rather than doing these sort of more natural looking habitats, I wanted to do a habitat that would kind of, I guess, fit in like a city zoo. If that makes sense. I thought, I see a lot of, at least in like my local zoo, like our zoo's really good about having habitats that look really natural and fit with the habitat of the animal that it's in. However, there are some kind of older habitats that still have that sort of just like lots of concrete and not really as much in the way of terrain and foliage and things like that. So that's what I wanted to do here. And what you just saw me building, which looks like a little pool basically, is exactly that. I made using the plaster pieces actually, because they're just, instead of like concrete, because the concrete pieces, they just didn't really work out how I wanted to use them. And the plaster, if you color it kind of like a light gray color, just really looks like concrete to me. I mean, at least to my eyes. You guys let me know down below. But yeah, so I did these like concrete pools rather than just like a natural looking like kind of water feature. And then again, I just put the concrete basically all over the entire habitat, with the exception of a few areas that are kind of, there's one in between the two pools, and then I have another kind of bigger area right in the front with some trees and like the little habitat like bedding area and stuff. I did a little bit of the East Asia theme as far as like the actual habitat itself, mostly just in the shelter, which is kind of in the corner, and then a little bit around the edges of the habitat barrier. I used like the East Asia pillars, stone pillars, and some of the wood like timber pieces as well. But yeah, really kind of just filling in all the like concrete areas really actually took a lot more time than I kind of expected. But I guess that makes sense because there's really a lot of it, and there's a lot of pieces in this blueprint, but it all turned out really good at the end. I think it's super cool. I think it's a lot different than doing the really kind of more natural looking habitats, which if you've watched any of my like Wildlife World episodes or any of the other Planet Zoo Build episodes that I've done, I always talk about how I prefer the more natural looking habitats, which is 100% true. But I also wanted to use this opportunity to kind of challenge myself a little bit and see if I could actually, make a really like concrete heavy habitat and still make it as realistic as I could, and still make it for the crocodiles. Had to make sure that they actually like it. They're not like hating the fact that there's like a ton of concrete, which animals in Planet Zoo actually don't have that. Like, they don't care about building pieces. They only care about plants and foliage and water, if they have a water requirement, which crocodiles obviously do. So yeah, I did. You can see there's the kind of more natural part of it, and then this part here as well, just laying down some bedding for them. And then of course they have to have plenty of enrichment items, so I did like the mud bath. I did a couple of the blood pumpkins, which is like the most heavy metal name ever. I did a sprinkler. I also did one of the scent markers as well, because crocodiles do like those. The other kind of, what I thought was going to be a challenge was making sure that the entire habitat was traversable, because, like I said, that their habitat is basically just pieces. There's only those two spots of actual terrain coming through. And I was kind of actually worried, like, how much of this is going to actually be traversable. And it turned out like the entire thing. It worked out so well, and I'm really happy with it, and I hope you guys are digging it. And if you're downloading this off of my Steam Workshop, hopefully it fits in really well. The idea was, you know, again, if you're doing like more of like a city themed zoo, I feel like this would fit in right there. Maybe you're doing a little bit more of a low budget zoo, you know, maybe a zoo that doesn't have like a ton of money, so they can't go all out with the habitats and making them look really, really natural. So they have to use a little bit more concrete, which is like cheaper, and you know, it's more or less like, well, here's a habitat and you can see the crocodiles, but it's not like the most, yes, like it's not very close to like their actual habitat. So that, you know, was totally intentional. And again, just going a complete opposite direction of what I normally do. But that's, I think that's just about it for the time lapse. So you guys let me know in the comments, what other animals would you like me to see? Would you like to see me make blueprints for? If you have any suggestions, absolutely leave them down below. And hopefully you guys are digging this Planet Zoo Builds series. I think is a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm really digging it. So, as always, be sure to leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. I am 8-Bit Josh, and thanks for watching. See ya.